Good morning, guys. I hope you're having a great Friday and jumping in with today's video. Improving relationships. This is one of the trickiest areas, and I've had so many people reach out to me and just say how much the other videos that we've done on relationships have really helped them, because I think it's really one of those sticking points, and relationships really can be either our greatest joys or our greatest sorrows. If our relationships aren't working well, it tends to really impact obviously every other area of life, whether that's our health, whether that's our finances, or our ability to be able to work or do work at our own business or career or any of those things. And it tends to really impact the way that we feel about ourselves and vice versa. So by that, what I'm actually meaning is that our relationships, the way that they currently are, is 100% indicative of how we currently feel about ourselves, communicate with ourselves, and express ourselves. Hey Paula, lovely to have you on, hun. And it's one of the greatest challenges that I think that we have as human beings, and quite often you guys will hear me talk about this, where our need to fit in, our need to belong, our need to be accepted and be part of the tribe is so huge, but also is our need for being ourselves, for the unique expression of ourselves and who we are. And it makes it really, really challenging on so many levels when we've got this inner conflict going on. And a lot of that inner conflict is the head versus the heart. And the heart will always just naturally choose freedom, choose our highest aspect, be that wonderful self that we are. Hey Kayla, sorry, I'm really having trouble seeing that this morning. That's really funny. Lovely to have you on, honey. And so we've got this inner conflict going on, whereas the ego survival mind, so our mind is all about belonging, about fitting in, about being accepted. And so the biggest challenge that comes up in relationships is wanting somebody else to behave differently so we can feel okay. And of course, we've also felt that from others. And a lot of the dynamics that actually really create challenges in relationships is actually not understanding how we're actually attracting that experience into our life. And it's never somebody asserting themselves upon us, although it can feel like that, and I truly appreciate that. I felt like that for such a long time. Hey Anne, hey Sal, lovely to have you guys on here. Where it feels like somebody's doing something to us, or they're hurting us, or they're upsetting us, and we get so frustrated by this situation, because if only they were different, or if only they did this differently, or if only they did that, then we could be happy, then we could feel okay, then we wouldn't feel so negative about ourselves, then we would believe in ourselves, then we'd feel like we're enough. And we've got to take the blame out of that whole entire situation. We have to focus back on ourselves and say, what is it about me that's actually attracted this situation? How do I communicate with myself? How do I speak to myself? How am I portraying to the world that I feel about me, and therefore continue to attract these circumstances? So any forms of bullying or any of those difficult circumstances that sometimes, hey Paul, great to have you on, that we can sometimes experience in life, is all to do with what's actually going on inside. We're literally magnetizing ourselves by the vibration, by the energy, by the emotion that we're actually constantly emitting to the world about what we say about ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, and how worthy we feel of actually accepting love, receiving love, being treated kindly. If you are not treating yourself with kindness and compassion, if you're beating up on yourself, you are going to attract more criticism from others. And what actually happens is, because a lot of us have had experiences as a child, we've grown up with a perception or a belief that in some way, shape or form we're not enough, or we haven't done this right, or mum or dad said this, or a teacher said that, or a friend said this, or a sibling said this, or did this, and now I believe this experience, and now I'm bringing that into every other single one of my relationships, and it will be playing out either at a small or a large level. And you cannot create change by trying to change somebody else. Now, we all know that logically. It doesn't stop us from being frustrated emotionally when that's actually not happening. And a process that I take my clients through, and I'll explain this to you guys in a second, is so powerful, because it really helps you to see where your greatest gaps are in your own self-love, in your own self-respect, in how it is that you treat yourself, because how you treat you is how others will treat you. Now, we know that, again, logically a lot of the time, but actually translating that and knowing what that truly is for yourself is really important. And then you can start to discover, what are my gaps? Where do I need to show up more for myself? Where do I need to love myself or be more supportive or kind or compassionate to provide my own sense of happiness? Because when you do that, you let everybody else off the hook. They can just be them, you can just be you, and everyone just gets to do what's the right thing for them. We've been told again and again in this society that we need to please others. We need to, otherwise we're selfish, or otherwise we're this or we're that. And selfish is such a screwy, hypocritical word. Hey Chris, great to have you on. Simply because it's somebody else saying, you need to be different so that I can feel okay. It's like, don't you make you happy, you need to make me happy so I feel okay, because otherwise you're selfish. Now, isn't that just like completely hypocritical? And it was not until I truly understood that where it was just like, wow, it is really screwy. Everybody's blaming everybody else for their own unhappiness, but not actually taking full responsibility for their own happiness. But then we tend to be over responsible for other people's emotions simply because we're projecting onto them, well, if they can hurt me, it must mean that I can hurt them. So a lot of these beliefs are really kind of screwy in a lot of ways, where they really do impact our relationships. So the first thing that I when I'm working with clients on relationships, it is really to take, like, if you're in a current relationship, just take your partner out of it, leave them out of it. Don't try and make them into your ideal relationship or your ideal partner. It's not the way to do it, because when you're trying to do that, they feel that you're trying to change them, that you're trying to control them, that you're trying to have them be different, which doesn't feel great for them. Just the same as if you felt that pressure from somebody else, that you're like, they're really bugged about this particular aspect of me, or they want me to be tidier, or they want me to be healthier, or they want me to be this or to be that. It never feels good when we feel that somebody else is trying to control us, and we'll be pushing back against that and trying to control them back. So the first thing is, what is your ideal partner? What is your ideal relationship? What would that look like? What would that be? If you got to create it exactly the way that you chose for you, what would that actually be? And take some time to make note, what characteristics would your partner be exuding? What types of things would they value? How would you guys spend time together? What is it that you do together? What are the conversations that you'd have? How would you be together? What are the ways that you would feel supported? What are the ways that you would feel loved? What are the ways that you would feel respected within that relationship? And what are the other things that are important to you to experience in relationship? Hey Beck, lovely to have you on, honey. So really take some time to discern all of those things. What are those things for you? Now, the second part of this, and this is where it gets really interesting, is go through that list after you've written that list, and you can keep adding to it. There's no limit on what you can kind of add to that list, because when we're experiencing what we don't want to experience in relationship, quite often we're discerning what it is that we do want to experience. So if you've got some negatives in there as well, so be careful of how you've worded it. If you have some negatives, I don't want them to be lazy, what is actually that? What is it that you do want in the positive? You can't focus on what you don't want and get it. Whatever you're focusing on, you will get. So you can't focus on what you don't want and not get that. If you're focusing on them not being lazy, all you're thinking is lazy, lazy, lazy. The subconscious mind, the universe doesn't hear not. It's just hearing whatever it is that you're envisaging or you're thinking about. And when you say negative things, now you're pushing up against something that you don't want, rather than being in the flow or the joy or the exhilaration of something that you do want, which might be a partner that's cooperative, that might be a partner that's truly helpful, that might be a relationship that's truly mutually beneficial, where you feel like a true partnership and you're helping each other out and it feels really supportive. So always focus, always write. Just, you can discern, I don't want this, but what is it that I do want instead as well? Hey Bev, lovely to have you on. So take some time, write that list, go through that list and figure out, am I doing this currently for myself? So if you want a partner that's more supportive, that's more loving, that's more kind, that shows you greater respect, are you respecting you? Are you showing up for you? Are you being supportive of you? Do you encourage yourself, or are you beating yourself up with your words and with your thoughts or with your judgments about yourself? Because I can promise you, whatever you're triggered most by in your partner is judgments that you have about yourself. We're constantly projecting all of those things. We're constantly giving other people our own medicine. They should be healthier. They should be tidier. No, you should be tidier. You should be healthier. If you're projecting that stuff, it is just a belief, a thought that you've had since childhood that now you're trying to transform or have somebody else be that way. Hey Miriam, great to have you on. Hey yo. So this is really, really, really important in going through that list and figuring out, am I showing up this way for myself? Am I truly loving and supporting myself in this way? If you say you want to go hiking with your ideal partner, if you say that you want to be active or be healthy, are you doing that, or are you waiting for somebody else to do that first? You have to show up for you first. You have to become your ideal partner, and in doing that you set everybody else free in the process. And by doing that, you're also, if you're loving you, now you're naturally attracting love into your life from all of your relationships, not just intimate relationship, not just friendships or things like that. And this is the same if you've had challenges with friends. Go through, write down, what would be my magical friend list? What is it that I would truly love to experience in a friendship? Who is it that I'd love them to be? How would they show up? How would they communicate with me? What things would we be doing, or what things would we be spending time with? And get to work, like figuring out, going through that list. Am I already doing that? Am I showing up in that way for myself? The third part of this is then if you're in a current relationship, it's finding gratitude, it's finding all the things that you like, love, and appreciate currently about themselves or about that particular person, and letting them be them. If they are truly meant to step into that alignment, if they're truly meant to step up into that ideal relationship, I can promise you, from you focusing on all the things that you like and love and appreciate about them, it's crazy how it works, but it has worked every single time in my own life in such a powerful way, where either that relationship dissolves in a way. Hey Gloria, it's great to have you on, darling. That relationship will either dissolve, you'll attract the right partner into your life, or which obviously can feel scary, particularly, if we've been in that particular relationship for a long time. A lot of people cling to the familiar, certainly what I did, cling to the familiar because there's an element of certainty in there, even though it may not be what it is that you truly wish to experience in relationship. So, but I can also assure you that if you've attracted your current relationship, if you met when you felt wonderful about yourself, when you were treating yourself well, the chances of that truly being your aligned relationship and that partner then stepping into that space with you, after you've got your eyes off everything that you don't want to experience, and you're focusing more and more on not reality that you're currently experiencing, but what it is that you wish to experience in the future, when you're feeling excited, when you're acting as if you are already in that relationship, now that can align, and that can happen very, very quickly. And it's crazy how how fast that actually happens. I noticed myself last week that I was attracting a lot of negative conversations. Now, I could have got upset or got frustrated. Oh my God, people are so negative, or blah, blah, blah. No, it was me attracting that. I was being negative at the time, and the more I couldn't get my eyes off that conversation or those conversations, or feeling like, oh my God, am I going to have another negative conversation with this person or that person? And it was so fascinating, because the second I started looking for all of the things that I like, love, and appreciate in other people, then the conversations just naturally flowed into a much more inspiring, much more positive conversation. It felt wonderful to be in those conversations, and I didn't have to say anything to anybody about not being so negative or not being so, caught up in stuff or anything else. It was just, I naturally attracted that because I wasn't being caught up in the drama. I wasn't being caught up in the negativity anymore. It's so crazy how life will always reflect back what's going on internally for ourselves. Life is so kind, and when we truly get that, you will let everybody else just be themselves, and you will line up, you will understand that you are truly the attractor and the creator of your circumstances, and be able to do the inner work to free yourself from any limiting beliefs that is saying you're not worthy, or you're not enough, or you're not deserving of love, or you're not lovable in some way. I had all those beliefs going on, and it did take quite a bit of time to work through that and to release that. But because of that, I have the most incredible relationship and relationships, in lots of areas of my life, with my clients, with my kids, with my dad, my family, but also more so I'm speaking obviously from that intimate soulmate level, simply because that is where we tend to experience the most exhilarating highs and the most devastating lows. And so this is really powerful. Hey Ashley, lovely to have you on. Really powerful to really line yourself up with this, to understand who is it that I need to become in order to be in this magnificent, wonderful, empowered, mutually beneficial relationship, and really attract the partner that would light my heart up. And when we come from that place, you don't have to try and assert yourself or try and control anybody else's behavior or push back or become resistant to, because all that does is create further disharmony in relationships. So I truly hope that's been helpful for you guys. If you are experiencing some really strong challenges in relationships, please reach out to me. We can have a chat, see where you're at, see where you'd like to go, or what you'd like to create in future for yourself, and we can have a chat and see if and how I might be able to help you with that. So have an amazing day, guys, and just sending so much love to all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've got so much gratitude for you all, and if this has been helpful, please like, love, or share it, and yeah, have fun figuring out who it is that your ideal partner would be, and stepping into becoming that person for yourself. Have an amazing day, guys. Bye.